everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My name is Samantha Genzer, and I will be your show host for today. We have a very exciting show ahead of us. We'll be covering Gabby Thomas's wins at the World Athletic Relays, the CrossFit Individual Quarterfinals, the changes to the WNBA preseason schedule, and how Brittany Griner's doing now that she's released from prison. And of course, make sure you stay tuned till the end to hear about a scandal with the U.S. women's track and field uniforms. Before we start, I would like to ask that you like and follow the show, and you can become a part of our show by tipping and donating. We get a lot of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your questions get read on the air, I ask that you use your tips and donation link at gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. This puts your questions at the top of the list so that I see it, and of course, it really helps the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get started. I hope you enjoy today's content. We're going to be starting off today by discussing Gabby Thomas's securing 2 gold medals at the World Athletic Relays. So, last Sunday, Gabby Thomas competed at the 2024 World Athletic Relays in the Bahamas and secured 2 gold medals. She competed in the 4x100 meter relay and 4x400 meter relay. And just for reference, I'm going to be referring to them as the 4x1 and 4x4 just because it's easier. The American team, which included Gabby Thomas, clocked a time of 41.85 seconds in the 4x1. The other teammates were Tamari Davis, Salara Barnes, and Melissa Jefferson. Thomas was the second leg in the 4x1 and clocked a split of 10.23 seconds. Tamari Davis blew open the 4x1 right from the gun, sizzling around the bend to give the stick to Gabby Thomas more than a quarter second ahead of every other competitor. Thomas then, of course, maintained the lead down the backstretch and made a quick pass to Salara Barnes. Barnes then quickly navigated the final turn, and from there it was up to Melissa Jefferson then, and she clocked a 9.98 split and then stopped the clock at 41.85, which was a championship record and the fastest time in the world in 2024. So Thomas was actually supposed to compete only in the 4x1. However, she ended up returning to the track for the 4x4 as well, and she teamed up with Kinera Hayes, Bailey Lear, and Alexis Holmes, and literally 20 minutes after competing in the 4x1, Thomas competed in the 4x4 and clocked the fastest split in the American relay team, which was 49.58 seconds. The USA team really dominated the race, ending with a time of 3 minutes and 21.7 seconds. After the event, Gabby Thomas and the other relay teammates interviewed and discussed their performance. Kinera Hayes said their focus was on making sure that they give Thomas a good lead because she is going to most likely be tired after competing 20 minutes before. Hayes said that the relay team really trusted Thomas, though, to compete right after an event and do absolutely phenomenal, just like she did. The squad really emphasized trusting each other and knowing each other strengths to build that mentality of a winning team. Of course, fans have been going wild about Gabby Thomas and her outstanding performance in the relays. Fans on social media wrote many great things about Thomas, and I'm just going to highlight a few of them. One fan wrote, "I love that Gabby is at the World Relays doing whatever she needs to get to these relays qualified for the games." And then another fan wrote, "She can do it all. Gabby Thomas becoming the new Allison Felix. Love it." And Allison Felix, just for some background context, is an American sprinter who is the most decorated female Olympian in track and field. So this comment really highlighted Thomas's versatility and potential to be just like the other track and field greats and Olympians. And lastly, a fan wrote, "Shout out to Gabby Thomas, hardest working woman in track right now." And Thomas is actually originally a 100 and 200 meter sprinter, and to perform this well in the global stage against 400 meter runners is a huge accomplishment for Thomas. Last year, Thomas broke the 50-second barrier for the 1 lap event with a time of 49.68 seconds. It's very clear that Thomas has the potential for the 400 meter event, and now the US has another member that can be considered for the 4x4 team at the Paris Olympics. The fact that Gabby Thomas was able to literally race with that amazing time 20 minutes after winning another race is just insane. Like, words cannot describe how physically demanding turning your body around to compete in another race that quick requires so much effort, so much skill, so much talent. It really shows how perfect Thomas would be in the Paris Olympics. Like, she is literally made and built to be an Olympic athlete. Not many people, including people in the Olympics, can compete minutes after competing for another race or event. So the fact that she was able to do that is so impressive, and it really makes her an outstanding contender to be in the 4x4 US team at the Paris Olympics. Before the World Athletic Relays this Sunday, Thomas has had an incredible season so far. She opened her outdoor season at the 2024 Clyde Littlefield Texas Relays by winning the sprint double. She bagged the first position in the 200 meter and 100 meter race with times of 22.08 seconds in the 200 meter race and 10.88 seconds in the 100 meter race. Thomas now holds the world record this year over the 200 meter event. Thomas was also a member of the 4x1 relay squad at this event with Celera Barnes, Tamara Clark, and Muralaki Akinosun, and they clocked a time of 42.25 seconds. So Thomas started out gaining fame in the 2020 U.S. Olympic track and field trials, where she topped the 200 meter dash with a championship record of 21.61 seconds, which was the second fastest ever in the year 2020. And then moving on to the Tokyo Olympics, Thomas then bagged the bronze medal in the 200 meter event with a time of 21.87 seconds. And then a few days later in the Olympics, Thomas won the silver medal in the 4x1 relay event, running the anchor leg this time. And that relay, the team ended with a time of 41.45 seconds, which was their season best performance. And you guys can tell, you're hearing a lot of words like season best, championships, record, best. Gabby Thomas is contributing to all of that, and it is just so impressive and stunning. At the 2023 World Athletic Championships, Gabby bagged 2 medals, a gold in the 4x1 relay and silver in the 200 meter dash. In the 4x1 relay event, Thomas ran the third leg, and the team won with a record time of 41.03 seconds. So Thomas actually recently opened up about having imposter syndrome on the track, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's kind of been a motivator for her in some way. Having imposter syndrome basically means that someone doesn't feel confident or competent or good enough regardless of what they achieve, and with that obviously causes a lot of anxiety. Having imposter syndrome can actually be seen as a good thing in some ways, because it means that you're constantly challenging yourself to be the next level or achieve something greater. So the fact that Thomas is always pushing herself is very inspiring, but at the same time, struggling with imposter syndrome has been very difficult for her and a little bit of a setback in her track and field career with confidence. But at the same time, it has been a motivator for her, and I will get into that. So Thomas said in an interview, "I had never made a U.S. team before, and so I had to work and fill that gap. And I ended up filling it, and now I am an Olympian and Olympic medalist and a gold medal contender. But I wasn't always, and I had to force myself to be in that space." I just feel like her story serves as a reminder that success can coexist with self-doubt, which is very inspiring. So after Thomas came back home from the Tokyo Olympics with a bronze medal and a silver medal, she was happy with that achievement, but she wasn't happy ending her career there. So she is very, very, very motivated to bag that gold medal at the Paris Olympics this year. But the question is, or the question that I have is, will a world record be broken at the Paris Olympics? Thomas said in an interview that the record has, quote, got to go. And then she also said that Sharika Jackson, Elaine Thompson, Shakara Richardson, Christine Mbamba, if she comes back, and herself have the potential to beat the record. Thomas says that they're all pushing each other to the level that they would need to be to break a record, which is really special and empowering, and I'm excited to see how these really determined athletes do in the Olympics. Gabby Thomas is really, really inspiring, and while she's competing at this high level, breaking records and securing medals, she also is this amazing student, and I'm just emphasizing that because she kind of lives these double lives, and her intelligence is pretty much overshadowed by her track and field career, which makes sense, but it also would make sense to recognize her intelligence and academic achievements as well, since that's also what she is known for. So she has an undergraduate degree in neurobiology from Harvard, where she also studied global health and policy, plus she has a master's degree in public health and epidemiology from the University of Texas. The running stuff was supposed to be long over by now. Halfway through college, Thomas actually didn't even know professional running was a thing. She let her heroes like Alice and Felix sort of disappeared for 3 years between Olympic Games, so it's quite interesting to see how these two lives, how she lives these two lives and is still dominating the track. And honestly, her thought that they just disappeared for 3 years, that honestly makes sense. I think that's valid, but it's just interesting to point out that she's living these two lives and she really is dominating the track right now. So we're going to transition to discussing the CrossFit individual quarterfinal recap. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break, so I will see you guys very, very soon.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid.
Welcome back, everybody. We just got done talking about Gabby Thomas's securing 2 gold medals at the World Athletic Relays, and we're now going to transition to talking about the CrossFit individual quarter final recap. Before we do so, though, I just wanted to put a little reminder that you can be a part of our team by tipping and donating. And it also puts your questions at the top so that I can see them if you use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Also, we really do appreciate the support, and make sure you stay tuned till the end so you can hear the scandal with U.S. Olympic women's track and field uniforms. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I think it's time for us to begin. So the CrossFit quarterfinals is a 6-day competition, 6-day online competition, and the second stage of the CrossFit season. And it's open to the top 25% of CrossFit Open finishers and decides which athletes will progress to the first in-person stage of competition, the CrossFit semifinals. 40 men and 40 women make it out to the next competition. Obviously, we'll be discussing the performances by women in this competition. The most recent competition was the age group division, and there are many age groups, and there's just so much to cover, so we're just going to focus on one age group in particular that stood out to me, and that is the 35 to 39 age division. And this age division really stood out to me because there were a lot of impressive reps and placements, so that's why I chose this division. And honestly, you will be just as surprised as I am, because I am convinced that these people are not human. Like, it is insane what they are able to do. So for the 35 to 39 age division, you have 4 workouts total, and I'm going to go over who placed first in each workout, and I'm also going to describe what each workout is. Okay, starting with the first workout. The first workout is 4 rounds. You have 1 minute of barbell snatches with an 85-pound barbell, and then you have 1 minute rowing, and that's tracked with calories. It's a little bit hard to explain, but there's a monitor on the rowing machine, and it's somehow, the calories somehow like computes to reps, like they do some sort of calculation or something. It's very hard to explain. But just know that it's based on calories. And then it's 1 minute of dumbbell box step-ups with a 35-pound dumbbell and 20-inch box. Haley Murillo, representing the U.S., bagged the first place position with a total of 217 reps. When I was looking at these scores, I literally was like, they're not human. Like, that is insane that Murillo did 217 reps of barbell snatches, rowing, and dumbbell box steps in that limited time. That's crazy. Like, that's insane. I'm never gonna like not be shocked that someone can do that, to be honest. Anyway, Maria is currently ranked 102nd in her age division worldwide. So just think about how many people are CrossFit competitors worldwide. 102nd is insane. She also is a stunt woman, and she used to cheer for University of Nevada, Las Vegas, so you can see where her strength comes from. The second workout is 3 rounds total, and this workout it starts with a 50 wall ball shots with a 14-pound medicine ball. And then in a wall ball shot is basically you squat down and then you throw the medicine ball up, and then you keep repeating it. And then you do 50 lateral burpee box jump overs with a 20-inch box, and that's just doing a burpee, and then you jump on the box, do burpee, jump on the box, and keep repeating 3 rounds. And this is scored based on time, so whoever gets the shortest amount of time to complete 3 rounds of 50 sets of each, basically. Gillian Cook, representing Canada, had a time of 16 minutes and 42 seconds, placing first. I'm sorry, but like, all of these, like, these times are like insane to me. I don't know. I'm never gonna be like not shocked by them. So basically, she did 150 wall ball shots and 150 lateral burpee box jump overs in just under 17 minutes. That's crazy. She is the owner of CrossFit Connections, the largest CrossFit center in Burlington, and she used to be just a long distance runner, but she transitioned to CrossFit in 2016. So clearly she has great stamina and endurance, and we can see that. The third workout is also for time. It starts with 3 rounds of 10 handstand push-ups and 20 toes to bars. A handstand push-up is where you're doing a push-up right against a wall, but you're vertical, so it's a handstand. And a toes to bar is where you're hanging from a bar and you have your legs straight out in front of you and you raise your toes to your upper body. Basically, it's like a mid-air crunch. Next, you do 2 rounds of 10 handstand push-ups and then 5 rope climb-ups, 15 feet. Lastly, you do 1 round of 10 handstand push-ups and then 20 muscle-ups. And a muscle-up is you start with a pull-up, and then you keep pulling yourself up above the bar until your arms are completely straight. Elise Adriani placed first in this workout. She's representing France, and her time was 8 minutes and 50 seconds. She actually is a famous Instagram influencer, so she has a lot of fan base following her there, doing a lot of CrossFit workouts on her platform. The last workout is scored on how many reps you can do. You are given 10 minutes to complete everything. It starts with 10 clean and jerks with 85 pounds, and then you rest for 1 minute, and then you do another 10 clean and jerks, but this time with 125 pounds, and then rest for a minute. Next is 10 clean and jerks, but with 155 pounds, then rest for a minute. And then finally, with the remaining time you have left, you do as many reps as you can of clean and jerks with 165 pounds. Joana Boaventura from Brazil was the winner with a total of 60 reps, and 30 of those reps came from the 4th weight and remaining time in those 10 minutes. She's also a long distance runner as well, so lots of stamina and endurance coming from there. She is extremely strong, as you can see, and she's ranked 50th in her age division worldwide, which is insane. CrossFit has been getting more popular as the years progress, and I'm very happy that it has. This competition is extremely unique though, as it's online, so literally anyone in the world can compete. Of course, there you have to qualify, but you can be from any region and still compete. So I'm going to do a little highlight of the top 5, and the top 5 are Mde Cooch from the UK, Caroline Klutz from the US, Jasmine Sheehan from Canada, Haley Murillo from the US, Andrea Nisler from the US, and Mackenzie Riley from the US. You probably are thinking, you just named 6 people. Yes, I meant to do that. Haley Murillo and Andrea Nisler actually tied for 4th, and Mackenzie Riley placed 5th overall. I promise I can count to 5, like I promise I can. So Mde Cooch placed 5th in the first workout, 2nd in workout 2, 13th in workout 3, and 8th in workout 4. And then Carolina Klutz placed 3rd in workout 1, 11th in workout 2, 27th in workout 3, and 13th in workout 4. Jasmine Sheehan placed 30th in workout 1, 20th in workout 2, 7th in workout 3, and 61st in workout 4. And then Haley Murillo placed 1st in workout 1, 45th in workout 2, 52nd in workout 3, and 23rd in workout 4. Andrea Nisler placed 40th in workout 1, 25th in workout 2, 47th in workout 3, and 9th in workout 4. And then Mackenzie Riley placed 77th in workout 1, 2nd in workout 2, and 10th in workout 3, and 33rd in workout 4. So the way that these are all scored in like total, like your final placement, it's really confusing, but basically what you need to know is that everything's just averaged up. Like, that's the best way to explain it, really. So we're just gonna dive deep into all of these numbers and everything. So compared to 2nd and 3rd place, Gooch really stood out. She was consistently in the top 10 in all but one workout, but still in that one workout where she didn't place in the top 10, she placed 13th, so it doesn't put that much effect on her final score. I want to point out that she was 5th in workout 1 and her total reps are 205. Now, I said previously that the first place, which was Murillo in workout 1, was a total of 217 reps. So Gooch is literally right there with 205. In CrossFit competitions, the competitions get so close because you can beat someone by 1 rep, and the tiniest challenge can make you lose a rep, such as a slight second struggle on a rep that makes you add a slight extra time, or a small penalty where you didn't really do a full rep but you almost did, like something like that. There's a 12 rep difference in Gooch and Murillo's score, but Gooch placed 5th and Murillo placed 1st, so it shows how close the competition can get. And just think about like all the people that are between the two of them, like how close those numbers are. Anyway, other than that, it is very clear that Gooch was a dominant and strong competitor. Klutz, on the other hand, was strong for workout 1, 2, and 4, but her 3rd workout is what drove her score down the most, and this was the same for Gooch. The 3rd workout is mainly a mix of core strength and upper body strength, so it's interesting to see that those are the 2 strength areas that affected their score the most. And then for Shan, what really helped her score was the 3rd workout, which is funny because the 1st and 2nd place competitors did not perform as well in the 3rd workout compared to their other workouts. But ultimately what got Shan was the 4th workout. Placing 61st really affected her score, and that workout is clean and jerks with different weights, and because it's based on max rep, the competition is so close because it is so easy to have a penalty in the sense that you didn't technically do a full rep or you have a slight struggle, things like that, like I said. And then also you're changing weight, so it is getting increasingly more difficult, which is different from the other workouts because the other workouts are in some way more of a test of how long you can do something. So Sheehan should most likely focus on the adaptiveness a CrossFit competitor needs in order to change the weight without too much effect on how many reps they can do in a limited amount of time. Obviously, what really helped Maria was her 1st place in workout 1. Compared to the top 2, Gooch and Clutch, she didn't have as many high place events other than workout 1. Workout 2 and workout 3 still put her at a good spot, but if she got at a higher place, she definitely would have been more competition for Gooch and Clutch. What drove Nisler's score up the most was her performance in workout 4, which was the opposite of Sheehan, where she did not do so well in this workout. Nisler really did well in this event, but the main reason she tied with Murillo is because Murillo placed 1st in workout 1. Other than workout 1, Nisler literally beat Murillo in all of the other workouts. Lastly, looking at Riley's scores, workout 2 and 3 really boosted her overall placement. She tied with Gooch on the 2nd workout with a time of 17 minutes and 28 seconds. What dropped her score though the most is workout 1, which she finished with 187 reps, which compared to Murillo and Gooch is a lot lower. So just so you guys know, the age group semifinals are going to be held May 8th through the 13th, which I'm hoping to talk to you guys about then. So now we're going to transition to the WNBA, where there have been some changes in the preseason schedule and some drama that came with it. But before we do that, we are going to take a short little break, so I will see you guys really soon.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC. To access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Welcome back, everybody. So we just got done talking about the CrossFit individual quarterfinal recap, and now we're going to be transitioning to the WNBA changes to the preseason schedule, which there is some drama involved, so it's interesting and kind of juicy. The whole issue is really confusing, to be honest, so I'm going to try to break it down as best as I can. Okay, so to start, the Chicago Sky had their first preseason game on Friday. They lost to the Minnesota Lynx. The Lynx secured a hard-fought 92-81 victory over the Sky. Courtney Williams and Afisa Collier both contributed 17 points, which really helped Minnesota's victory. And then on the other side, Lindsay Allen, who actually is a former Minnesota Lynx player, led the Sky's effort with 17 points. Angel Reese scored 13 points. Camila Cardoso played 13 minutes and scored 6 points, while also tallying 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, and an assist. Cardoso unfortunately didn't play in the second half after suffering what appeared to be a shoulder injury in the first half. After the game, Sky head coach Teresa Weatherspoon said, referring to Cardoso, "Heart of a lion, she didn't want to come out, but we have to protect her. She is going to be fine." Now, Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso, you probably have heard those names many times. They're the rookies on the Chicago Sky team. Angel Reese played for Louisiana State University, LSU, and she has so many awards, and to name a few of them, in 2023 she was named Final Four Most Outstanding Player, First Team All-American, and Sporting News Athlete of the Year, and then 2023 she was named SEC Player of the Year, First Team All-SEC, and the WBCA All-America Award. And then Camila Cardoso is really known for her performance at the University of South Carolina, where she was named Southeastern Conference 6th Woman of the Year and second team All-SEC in her junior year of college. And then on April 7th, 2024, Cardoso was named the NCAA Basketball Tournament Most Outstanding Player, following a dominant 15-point and 17-rebound performance in her team's 2024 National Championship win. So these two players are obviously phenomenal, and this first preseason game was basically their debut. Now, Cardoso only played 13 minutes before she had a serious shoulder injury, so unfortunately now she will miss the beginning of the WNBA season, but I'm not saying that for certain because I want to believe that she will magically get better overnight or something and will be back on the court, because I don't want to believe that she's gone for a little while. I want her to be back on the court. Anyway, so back to the whole issue. The preseason game was not aired, which obviously stirred a lot of frustration among fans, because we were all missing the chance to see Reese and Cardoso's debut. Fortunately, though, a Lynx fan in the arena began to stream the game on Twitter and attracted about 434,000 viewers to her feed, but still the game was not fully live streamed or aired. But the issue was also that Caitlin Clark's preseason game with the Indiana Fever was technically prioritized over Reese and Cardoso's debut. As a response, the Chicago Sky posted on social media a meme of Poste Morijo expressing their frustration at the fact that their game wasn't aired. New York Liberties player Sabrina Linescu also responded to this. During the Liberties Media Day on Saturday, she said, "It sucks. I think representation of every team is important. Hopefully the league can fix that, because I think they dropped the ball in that part, and hopefully they have a great explanation as to why that wasn't televised. But hats off to the person that just figured it out." And she was referring to the Lynx fan that live streamed the game. Also, Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeves suggested that fans should compensated the impromptu broadcaster emphasizing the rapid growth and changing dynamics in the league, and she said, referring to the live streamer, "Anybody that watched it should send $3 to the person." And then Sky coach Teresa Weatherspoon reflected on the situation as a learning opportunity, emphasizing leadership and confidence within the team, and she said word for word, "This is a learning process for all of us." So, because of fan feedback and lots of criticism, the WNBA adjusted the preseason schedule, and now the Sky's May 7th game against the New York Liberty will now be available on the WNBA's League Pass Subscription Act. Thank goodness. I am so confused with this whole issue. I don't understand why the league didn't air this game. From a marketing perspective, that just doesn't make sense. You're losing money, you're losing followers, and you clearly upsetted people. Obviously, that's like if it were on purpose. I don't think it was on purpose, but I will get into that. The league actually ended up clearing it up on social media by explaining that Bally Sports in Minnesota scheduled an MLB game for the time slot of Reese and Cardoso's debut. They basically explained that they don't have control over the game not being available for fans on TV, and at the end of their statement, the league assured that all games will be available in the league pass. I don't know. I don't know. When I first heard about this, I wanted to believe that it was an accident. Like, they prioritized airing the Nina Fever game, and somehow in the mix, the Chicago Sky game wasn't aired. I don't want to think that this has any ill intention at all. I would rather want it to be an accident than a team in the league not receiving equal attention opportunity. This is all just really strange to me and honestly really confusing. I'm really happy, though, that the Chicago Sky did make a post and respond to this issue. It was funny and quite clever and creative. They got their message across. That's what matters. Honestly, if you really analyze the situation, and I did, because why not, this whole issue could actually be a very strange and clever marketing strategy. Now that all of us are like, where's the game? Is it going to be aired? Audiences may now be more interested in watching the game or at least seeing if the game is aired. Think about it. It's just a random theory that is definitely not accurate, but it's just a thought out there to get your minds thinking, okay? Just a brain exercise. Because more priority was given to Caitlin Clark, a lot of people have been theorizing that the league only wants the media and audience to only pay attention to that team now. I don't think that's true personally. I don't find that to be a smart move by the league if they were to do that, and I don't think they would purposely try to make one team more prominent or recognize another. That kind of just happens normally, like naturally. Fortunately, Angel Reese still had some sort of debut. On Monday, she attended the Met Gala, which was on her 22nd birthday, and she was absolutely stunning. Let me show you guys a little picture of her. Look at her, she looks so beautiful. She is wearing the custom dress by British label 16 Arlington. Reese is definitely different from some other rookies in the sense that she has this potential to be an influencer, and it seems like she's interested in being an influencer or a celebrity while being a WNBA star. That's just what it seems like, but she looked absolutely beautiful at the Met Gala, as you can see, so it's very nice that she still got a chance to be in the spotlight and have some sort of debut despite the whole issue with airing her first preseason game. Regardless, though, the Sky season kicks off officially on May 15th with their first regular season game on the road against the Dallas Wings. And unfortunately, Camila Cardoso may not be playing. And yes, I said may not because I don't want it to be certain that she's not playing. I want her to be out there. So I'm like saying may not because I don't want to be certain. But it has been confirmed, unfortunately, that she is not playing. Anyway, this game will definitely be aired on the WNBA League Pass and local TV channels. And Cardoso said after the first preseason game, referring to her and Reese, "We're both going to do great things together on both ends of the floor. She's a great rebounder. I'm a great rebounder. We're both great finishers around the rim, and we can also pass the ball. I think it's going to be really exciting to watch us together." And I agree with that too. So thank goodness the game will actually be aired, and let's hope for that. Based on what the league said, that was the issue with the whole scheduling of the MLB games and such. The league, broadcasters, and other sports leagues need to make sure that they're coordinating a lot better to ensure something like this wouldn't happen again, of course. So we are going to transfer to something a little bit more dark and sadder, Brittany Griner's release from prison updates. Before we get into that, though, we are going to take a short break, so I will see you guys very, very soon.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Okay guys, so we just got back done talking about the WNBA changes to the preseason schedule, we're going to transition to talking about Brittney Griner's release from prison, the updates about it. There is a lot of background information that needs to be discussed before we get really into it. So Brittney Griner played with the Phoenix Mercury and is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist with the U.S. women's national basketball team and a 6-time WNBA All-Star. On February 17, 2022, Griner was detained and arrested on smuggling charges by Russian customs officials after cartridges containing less than a gram of medically prescribed cannabis oil were found in her luggage. Cannabis oil is illegal in Russia. It doesn't matter if it's medically prescribed or not. She had been playing basketball with the Russian Premier League during the WNBA offseason, so that's why she was there. Her trial began on July 1st, and she pleaded guilty to the charges. On August 4th, she was sentenced to 9 years in prison. And then on November 2022, Griner was transferred to the Russian penal colony. On December 8th, Griner was released in the prisoner exchange for Russian arms dealer Viktor Bout. Then on May 19, 2023, she made her reappearance in the WNBA and she received a standing ovation from the audience. A number of sports celebrities and politicians also attended the game to support her and celebrate her release. So, she went through quite a lot. She wrote a book called Coming Home, and it's a detailed account of Griner's harrowing journey through being in a Russian prison. We're not going to dive into the legal systems or the book itself, but rather we're going to discuss what this means for Griner's basketball career and how this has shaped her today. So Griner obviously is done playing overseas during the WNBA offseason. However, she still wants to play for USA Basketball on being on the Paris Olympic team. Griner did take a mental health break for several days last summer during the WNBA season and missed 3 games. Fortunately for all our fans, she will begin her 12th year in the league on May 14th. She's very much looking forward to playing again, especially after the welcoming she received during her return last year. To talk about how she's looking training-wise and how she looks going into the season, we're just going to visit the past a little bit. So last year, after she was released from prison, Griner's trainer noted that she needed a lot of work to get back into the shape she was previously at before she left. This was definitely a more unique challenge her trainer had to work with, since this wasn't just physically getting back into the league, but also mentally, how she was able to prepare herself for the league. She was in good health when she returned, but competing in the WNBA requires more than just good health and being fit. Hannah Werskensman, the head athletic trainer and physical therapist for the Phoenix Mercury, noted that people don't realize how quickly you can lose that muscle mass and strength. Werskensman also said, "This was so unique because I had never really had an athlete come from doing 10 plus months of nothing. That was really starting from the ground up." The first step for Griner was to secure her medical clearance, which came during her stay at Brooke Army Medical Center in San Antonio immediately after she landed in the U.S. Their medical staff ensured that Griner had not contracted any illnesses or suffered any injuries during her time abroad, and that it was safe for her to resume her daily life, and then she was also cleared for training. Griner literally only had 4 months to get ready for training camp, so her trainers made a master plan of what she needed to do in the weight room. Griner couldn't immediately jump into training, and her trainers wisely encouraged a gradual progression to prevent injuries. The first priority was rebuilding her muscle mass while focusing on her lower extremity strength and power. After all, that's what enables Griner to run, cup, jump, decelerate, and change directions on the court. Once she had adequately built up her strength, it was time to improve Griner's speed and power. The team relied on biometrics, which was this super complicated statistical analysis of movement data that was used to assess performance and injury risk, and they helped Griner work towards gradually increasing the load on the court with the biometrics. When it came time to compete in the first game, Griner really defied expectations. After scoring a team high of 18 points with 6 rebounds and 4 blocks in her first game of the season, Griner returned to Phoenix's home floor at the Footprint Center and exploded for 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Griner, however, wasn't pleased with her performance last season. Most of her criticism came from conditioning after having such a short turnaround. Now to the present, Griner's book was recently published, and she's been getting lots of attention on it, of course, and lots of attention for her bravery and determination to get back on the court. Greiner is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2016 and 2020, and was among 13 players selected by U.S. basketball to train in Atlanta in November for the Paris Olympics. With it being the first time playing overseas since being detained, it will certainly be an emotional time for Greiner and her teammates. Greiner said in an interview, "There were a lot of times a year ago where I didn't think that I would play ball. I didn't think I would ever wear this jersey again. I didn't know what the future was." A healthy Greiner in the front court already makes the U.S. even more intimidating, but the morale and passion that she would bring would also boost the group. A key takeaway from this is that Greiner is hopefully going to be competing in the Olympics, and fans are very excited to see her take off so well after she faced a lot of challenges. She is very determined and motivated, and those are qualities that have been seen by so many women in the WNBA, and Greiner, being a very well-known and talented player, is really pushing for those characteristics to be recognized by the world. Greiner's story isn't your everyday story. She faced a challenge that was very different from other players all over the world, and by writing a book and receiving media attention, Greiner is enhancing the recognition of the WNBA players received for their determination, dedication, and bravery when it comes to being on the court. Greiner has been a huge advocate for criminal justice reform, and we aren't going to get into the specifics of it, but I would like to highlight the whole concept that someone as huge and known as Greiner is using her platform for a cause that just isn't about basketball. And that's something that I felt that the WNBA has been doing particularly well in. I'm not just saying it's only the WNBA, obviously, but recently I've really noticed it in the WNBA league. Maybe it's the articles I'm reading or the things I've been watching. I don't know, but I definitely have noticed it in the WNBA. Some examples that I can think of are Brianna Stewart of the Seattle Storm. She has been a powerful advocate for survivors of sexual abuse and assault. Asia Wilson, the 2020 WNBA MVP and forward for the Las Vegas Aces, we all know her, has been a passionate advocate for education and youth empowerment. Elena Del Done, a forward for the Washington Mystics, has been an advocate for disability rights and inclusion. Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark have been both vocal advocates for women's sports and gender equality. Overall, I really admire that these WNBA players have used their platform to promote something that they are passionate about or have gone through themselves. Players like them really make a difference in the world, and their advocacy is inspiring. In terms of Greiner specifically, her work itself advocates for criminal justice reform, and also by sharing her story with the public. While advocating for this, Greiner also has been successful and empowering and advocating for mental health awareness. So thank you guys for staying till the end of the show, where we are going to discuss a scandal with the U.S. Olympic women's track and field uniforms. You guys should be very happy that you guys stayed till the end, because this is juicy gossip. I'm just saying. So Nike released a picture of the new uniforms, and I'm gonna pull up the picture right now. Sorry, that is wrong one. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so you can see on the right, this is the uniform. The men's uniform is on the left. Right one is right one. It's like mirrored, so it's confusing. The women's one is on the right. So a lot of controversy sparked with this post and uniform. The uniform kits will retain their red base color and are patterned with blue and white stripes, similar to those worn by Team USA and at the Tokyo Olympics. But looking at this uniform, you can see some vivid issues. This uniform basically lacks coverage in the bikini line and does not look comfortable or flattering at all. The last thing an Olympic runner would want to worry about is how their clothes fit on them and if they're flashing the entire arena. American long jumper Tara Davis Woodhull, who placed 6th during the Tokyo Games, commented on Instagram about how revealing the uniforms are and how they are smaller in areas that are uncomfortable. And then similarly, U.S. hurdler and 2008 Olympian Queen Harrison Clay mocked the uniforms and tagged European Wax Center in the comments. Paralympic runner Jaylene Roberts noted that the mannequin wearing the uniform is standing still and not in the middle of running. In an interview, steeplechase Colin Quigley, a 2024 Team USA Olympic hopeful, said that the unitard is, quote, absolutely not made for performance. From the look of it, that is what it looks like, to be very honest. The coach and retired track star Lauren Fleshman, who also won 5 NCAA championships and 2 pro national championships, called the revealing uniform, quote, a costume born of patriarchal forces that are no longer welcome or needed to get eyes on women's sports, in an Instagram post. People are also saying that this is designed by men due to its lack of coverage of certain areas. On the other hand, athletes like pole vaulter Katie Moon have stepped up to defend Nike, explaining that all Team USA athletes have multiple uniform options to choose from. There are 20 different combinations of the uniform to compete in, with all the tops and bottoms available to the athletes, and they're allowed to wear the men's uniform if they would like to. A Nike spokesperson said that unlike for the Tokyo Olympics, where the only unitard option had briefs, the brand was offering runners unitards with shorts as well. Nike also claims tailors will be on hand for Olympic and Paralympic athletes. So this is another option of a uniform with Sha'Carri Richardson, the model. She's wearing shorts and it has the letters USA on it. I like this uniform a lot more. It's definitely more flattering, and it's definitely more flattering. It looks more comfortable. Doesn't look as controversial as the other one. But it's still interesting how Nike revealed that first uniform. And what I mean by that is it clearly is not comfortable nor flattering. So it's strange to me that Nike would even release a uniform that looks like that instead of just having the more comfortable and flattering uniforms on their page. They didn't need to create that controversial uniform because just based on common sense, people probably wouldn't want to wear that uniform compared to the other options. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that it's strange and interesting that the controversial uniform was even an option, and that's where a lot of people are criticizing Nike about. So yes, athletes do have the choice of what to wear, but the fact that this is designed so poorly is really upsetting to certain people, and I feel like that's a fair reaction. I mean, if I saw that this is what I had to wear or is an option to wear, I would be concerned. I would wonder what the other options would look like and such. Fortunately, the other options look like something like this that Richardson is wearing. A lot better than the other option, in my personal opinion. I also wanted to point out that having uncomfortable costumes, I just said costumes, uniforms, oh my gosh, that was bad. Having uncomfortable uniforms isn't just an issue physically. I'm sorry, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I said costumes. That's sad. That's bad. Having uncomfortable uniforms isn't just an issue physically. Uniforms play a significant role in an athlete's performance, not just physically, but psychologically. For many athletes, the uniform is a source of pride and identity, and it represents their country and their personal journey in the sport. When the uniform is uncomfortable or perceived as overly revealing, it can really affect the athlete's self-confidence and focus. Women who often face more scrutiny about their bodies in both sports and general society may feel particularly vulnerable if their uniforms do not provide adequate coverage or fit improperly. When an athlete feels good about themselves, they will have a easier time and better time performing to the best of their ability. Now, the reason that I said costumes is because I was going to compare this. I was going to try to make this make more sense, basically, by saying that it's the same thing as if someone is wearing a costume on stage, they want to feel good about themselves. It's the same thing, yeah. So it's a confidence thing mainly, but you don't want to be looking unflattering and worrying about inappropriate outfits when you're running on a track. This controversy also sheds light onto other issues we see in women's sports. Track and field uniforms has always been notorious for how revealing they are and how little coverage they have. The lack of material helps them to perform better because it allows the athletes to be aerodynamic and reduce friction. However, from a marketing perspective, sports apparel brands like Nike might have actually designed women's uniforms differently to appeal to a broader audience, including non-sporting consumers, while the strategy can be profitable, it raises ethical questions as to the balance between commercial interest and the athlete's needs. The controversy might stimulate certain brands to reconsider whether their marketing strategies are appropriately aligned with their role in supporting athletes' performances and their actual well-being. And this is not, like, I'm not saying that this is what I believe, I'm just saying that this is what has been said by a lot of people about how companies have been making the uniforms to make the most profitable and for their marketing strategies. Also, Olympic gymnasts have had the same issues with their uniforms. Gymnasts have been criticized for their leotards being too revealing, and many critics have argued that it would be best to change the uniform completely. People have actually stopped participating in gymnastics because of the uniforms. A study published in the journal Sport, Education, and Society found that 75% of the women surveyed had seen girls drop out of school sports due to concerns about uniforms or body image. That is really sad. Really sad. And it is very unfortunate because we want to encourage younger generations, younger females to take part in sports, and we don't want something like a uniform to be the driving factor for why someone is not going to participate in a sport. Men and women, anyone, literally any individual. Some women have actually taken a stand against wearing the leotards that we all know and see in gymnastics. Germany's women's gymnastics team wore full-length bodysuits at the Tokyo Olympics, and what they said was a stand against sexualization of the sports. And here is the picture of them. They're really cute. I really like them. Also, New Zealand gymnastics last week updated its attire rules to allow women and girls to wear shorts or leggings over their leotards, which surprises me that is now being allowed. I'll get into my opinions later. Anyway, so 3-time Olympian Elizabeth Sight said in a statement, "It's about what feels comfortable. We wanted to show that everybody should decide what to wear." And she was one of the people who were wearing the Germany uniforms in the picture. Beyond gymnastics, in 2021, the Norwegian women's beach handball team was fined for refusing to play in bikinis, eventually causing the rule to change. So this scandal stems from a lot of issues, but one of the main components it comes from is a difference in men and women's uniforms. Going back to the controversial Nike uniforms, the men's uniform seems a lot more comfortable and is less revealing in certain areas that you don't particularly want to be revealing. Historically, men's track and field uniforms have emphasized functionality with a focus on maximizing performance through aerodynamics and comfort. These uniforms typically consist of singlets and shorts that are designed to be lightweight and allow for full range of motion without unnecessary fabric that could create drag or impede the athlete's movement. In contrast, women's uniforms have often been more varied and at times more revealing. The controversy surrounding Nike's uniforms at the 2024 Paris Olympics underscores this issue, really. Critics argue that the women's designs, particularly those that are more form-fitting or revealing, prioritize aesthetics or viewer engagement over athlete comfort and performance. The critical reaction to the women's uniforms for the upcoming Olympics, where athletes like Tara Davis-Woodhull and Colleen Quigley have raised concerns about the apparel being uncomfortably small and not made for performance, starkly contrasts with the typically less controversial men's apparel. And it suggests that the design philosophy applied to men's uniform, focusing primarily on function and performance, may not always be equally applied to women's uniforms. David Woodhull also said, "All women's bodies are different, and I say the same thing for men. Let's make the uniforms for the people instead of for the views of, oh, this is going to look cool on TV. Well, that might not look cool on my body, so let's just adapt to the athletes instead of a show." I agree with David Woodhull. The Olympics is about the sport and games, not uniforms. It's better to allow a player or a competitor to compete and play in a uniform that they feel confident and comfortable wearing rather than one that drives the most attention or looks the best on TV. Ultimately, people are not being scored on what their uniform looks like. The uniform is meant to be comfortable and something that they can perform in to the best of their ability, represent the country or team, and something that they feel is good on themselves. While this uniform does represent the USA and the colors and such, it looks uncomfortable and is not the most attractive uniform out there, to be completely honest. But still, I would like to note that there are other options for people to wear. So ultimately what I think is that uniforms definitely need to be more focused on comfortability and performance for men and women. It's not, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's really more about performance and comfortability is my biggest issue with this. I just feel that it's kind of designed poorly, and it's strange to me that this would even be an option when there are so many other options, like this one, like that's a better option. I don't know. I was confused when I saw this. I was like, because then I also saw this uniform and I was like, why is that an option? It's just strange to me. It's also just not flattering, and it seems a little uncomfortable. Not my cup of tea, not my favorite uniform I've seen. There are definitely a lot of issues with uniforms in the Olympic sports, especially with gymnasts, volleyball, and track and field, and swimming, and that is like a full-on hour video that I could get into, and it is just a lot to uncover. But ultimately, the controversy surrounds like the fact that this is just designed poorly and should not be an option to be worn. But we do have to know that there are other options that people can wear, so we need to make that clear that Nike does have other options. So very good that Nike has options and that people have the decision to wear other things, and they can, they can wear whatever they want to make themselves feel comfortable for performance and just in general. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit.